means is if it bleeds through, it can potentially cause an overvote. It can potentially cause you to vote for someone that you didn't intend to vote for, or so forth, because the bleed of one side's bubble can go forth to the other side and get within the area would be categorized for the other bubble. Now, specifically, we should not have had problems with bleed through. If you scroll down a little bit farther and zoom in where we've got the red box, this is actually a newsletter that was put out by Maricopa County that talks about the paper types that are utilized. And specifically, they state that they use vote secure paper. Now, if vote secure paper is utilized, it's actually a thick paper. It has a special coating on it that helps make sure there isn't bleed through. And so it would help ensure that bleed through wouldn't be a problem even if things happen to be not perfectly calibrated. But if you scroll down to the next page, we're going to give you an example of an actual ballot where you can see the bleed through that goes through. And you can see that the bleed through is actually very, very close to where votes are cast. Now, as part of additional analysis, we're going to try to get a better idea as to when or if this did impact votes and did impact values. It does require additional analysis in here, but specifically, this is an indication of problems that could cause an overvote situation or could cause votes to be cast for a different candidate than intended.
So let me clarify something. I want to make sure I get this straight, because this was an issue early on, right after the election. So Maricopa County, you're saying on their website, said that they only use secure paper, which does not allow for bleed through. Correct?
Correct. This is actually a newsletter from them, but yes.
Okay, their newsletter. And so if that is correct, there is no way there would be bleed through as what we're seeing on the ballots.
Yeah, based on our discussions with paper experts, they specifically state that paper is thick enough that it wouldn't bleed through, and we are seeing a lot of very thin paper stock being utilized, especially on election day.
Okay. Was this done with, does this happen with just magic markers, or does it happen with ballpoint pens? Do you know that answer? I don't want to put you on the spot, but...
I would expect that, with Sharpies, the bleed through would be greater, but it could potentially happen to a lighter amount with regular ballpoint pens as well. Yeah.
Okay. So there was in fact, it was dubbed by some of the media SHARPIEGATE at the very beginning, and there were the Maricopa elections people came back and said, no, if there was any bleed through, it would not have affected other votes because it's not lined up. Are you saying that's true or not true?
We would need more analysis, and their final report will be able to tell you more clearly whether this impacted things or not. But definitely, if there was an offset that was in the right direction, the right way, and there was bleed through, it could definitely impact the ballot.
Okay. One more question. Going back to this one on this phase right here, the pictures you had, what would cause that X or that mark to be out of that far of alignment? What causes that?
So if the printer is not properly calibrated, when it prints the second side of the page, it's actually offset, so it's not perfectly aligned. So it could be a number of different things involved, and probably printer calibration would be the key thing for it.
So would this be printer calibration with the people that printed the ballots, the main ballots, and aren't there printers like at the voting sites that they can print?
Yeah.
So it could be any of those printers?
So most of from what I understand, most of the ballots that are printed at Runbeck, that we can confirm with Runbeck, were pretty much spot on. But there's a lot of ballot on demands that are printed at the actual voting centers, and those had large offsets.
Do we know how many ballots on demand there were or not? Is there any records of
So it would
those?
be roughly 168,000, which would be the election day ballots.
So those were all ballots on demand?
Yeah, we are seeing more than that where this offset occurred. And so we're trying to drill into what printers and where and what that's tied to.
Okay, thank you. Okay, continue. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I think that was everything.
Okay.
To cover.
So let's go to